Hello, beloveds. How are you doing? It's a beautiful day, and I hope wherever you are that it's a beautiful day. Welcome to episode 23 of The Fire of Grief. As I'm sitting here with the sun in my face, I'm allowing myself to experience the beauty of nature, the beauty of being held by nature. And so much of the grief journey is this opportunity to open ourselves to being held. Grief is such a sacred journey, one that is often not looked upon as such because we want to move through it so quickly. And so today I want to sit with you and to invite the sacredness of all of the unfolding of grief to simply be with us. But before we get there, how are you doing? How has the energies been moving through you? How has your own grief journey been moving through your body, your energy body, your mental body, your emotional body? What has been coming up for you? So let's go ahead and do our body check-in, our embodiment. So both feet on the ground, lengthening the spine, relaxing the shoulders and elbows, softening through the jaw. And exhaling the air out of the mouth. And then begin to invite an in-breath to come in, an in-breath to be the witness of what is moving within you. And exhaling with a sigh. Again, deep breath in. And a breath out. And keep going in that way of breathing in, this coming home to who you are in this present moment with everything that you're feeling, everything that is showing up in your field. And then exhaling and releasing. And the releasing isn't necessary to let go. We're always in this vein of letting go. But sometimes we simply also need to sit with. Sit with. A couple more cycles of breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Allowing yourself to feel safe as you feel your palms on your thighs. And then I want you to simply connect with the space, the environment that you are sitting in currently. Just feel the energy in the space. Not with any judgment, but just to feel, just a sense to allow the environment to support us. Right now, I feel the trees supported me, the rustling of the leaves speaking. And again, being out here in nature continues to remind me that I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this journey of life. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So today I want to talk about the timeline of grief. We haven't spoken about this yet, but I was reading a friend's post just a few moments ago, and um, in the post he talked that he's lost a few friends in the last couple of months. And the timeline of grief came up. And for so often, we think grief is a linear process. And especially those of us who have read any of the books by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, where she talks about death and dying and grief, and she gives these stages, right? And I think for a long time we thought that the steps that she gave was a linear process, right? So there's um, bargaining, um, there's denial, there's bargaining, there's fear. Trying to remember all the steps. Acceptance, which is last. Um, but none of those things are linear. The way the grief process works is it's more of an all over the place thing, right? It moves. It's like a meandering river, right? That's the best way I know how to say. It's like being in a boat, or maybe it's more of a, not even a boat, because in a boat you're sort of like on the ocean. You're more like maybe in a kayak, and the path that you're taking does this. It's a very serpentine flow. So there is no straight line with grief. You could have experienced loss 20 years ago and still feel the grief from that loss, and still have an emotional eruption. Grief lives differently than any other experience that we go through. And so we can say that it's also circular, right? Because it comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. And sometimes we can get triggered by the unexpected things. There are times that I'll hear a particular song that reminds me of my husband, and my body remembers, and I cry and I miss him. Or something related to my mom, who passed 2 years before my husband, and something will come up, a smell, and there's grief there. And so the idea is not to, I have all of these steps that I need to go through in order to fully come out of my grief. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. Right? Grief takes us on this unfolding journey through the years. There's always some aspect of self that unfolds through it. And every year that I celebrate the anniversary of Hassel's death, there's something different. It's a different aspect of the grief that comes forward. Something for me to see, something for me to feel, something for me to acknowledge, something for me to heal. And it's been 8 years. And I know those of you who have gone through loss and it's been more than 8 years know what I'm talking about. Every year it's a different unfold, and every year it's a new experience. Right? And we don't know what the experience is going to be. I've had a year where I felt nothing but joy. There was no sadness. And this year, on August 2nd, I thought I would be I thought I would be fine because I wasn't feeling anything heavy. But the day that I woke up on August 2nd, my body remembered. And I spent the day honoring what I was feeling, which was sadness. It wasn't the deep activation of the heaviness of grief, but I allowed myself to cry because that's what wanted to come through. I allowed the tears to cleanse what I was feeling, but it was just, I miss him. I miss him. I would love to hear his voice again. I would love to touch his skin again. I would love to smell him, right? There's this thing that I have. I'm a smeller. And he always had like this uh, faint smell of cocoa. I would love to experience all of those things again with him, but they live on in me. in my memory as your loved ones live on in you and in your memory and in the love that you carry in your heart for them. These things never go away. And for me, it's like a warm cloak, like a blanket, right? Because what an honor to have loved. What an honor to have loved and to hold that love in memory until we are reunited again. And so, how do we navigate with grief? It's day by day. It's not having any expectations of where you should be on your grief journey, but where you are today and managing the energies of that day. Because the moment we place an expectation on ourselves that, oh, it's been a year, I ought to be over this, I should be feeling better. The moment we start to do that with ourselves, we're approaching the grieving process from the ego process. And grief is asking us, can we allow stillness to be a part of this practice? Presence. And by stillness, I mean presence. Can I be present with what is unfolding right now and not wish it away? Or not to pretend that this isn't what I'm feeling or this isn't where I'm at? Can I give myself permission to relax into it, to rest? Whatever it is that my body is calling me into. Can I say yes to that? Can I feel like I don't have to beat myself up to be happy, joyful? My friend that I'm staying with currently, she lost her husband a year ago suddenly. And there's so many people's like, well, go back to work, do this, do that. And I love how she is journeying with her grief because she knows what feels right for her. She knows that she needs time. She needs more time to be with everything that she is feeling. And I honor that process within her because it is right for her. All of our process is going to look so different. But society says that we ought to get on with the getting on. We ought to be over this quickly. How do you get over the loss of loved ones quickly? There's so much happening in the mysterious places of us as we move through grief. And the invitation is always for us to welcome what is moving through us. We don't have to necessarily rip it apart all at once, but to sit with quietly in our own way. And notice how we feel. Notice what it is that is coming up in that moment. You don't have to open the whole package all at once. Maybe in the beginning, it's just looking at the wrapping, right? The bow, the type of paper it's wrapped in. Maybe that's where we begin. And then maybe the second step is to touch, to create like this tactile experience, and you just touch the package. And then beyond that, maybe it's, well, what happens if I undo this bow, right? And hold the bow in your hand. And then another time, maybe you start to peel the package open. And maybe you stay with that part for quite a while without even looking inside and opening the box. So there is no linear journey in grief. It's not a point A to a point B, right? I like to say that grief is a multidimensional experience. And what do I mean by that? It means it has many layers to it. It takes us through many different dimensions of ourself, of seeing life differently, of seeing each other differently. And it meanders. It meanders. It flows. Wherever you are in your grief journey, be gentle, be soft. Don't rush. Don't rush. This is the medicine, the gift. Simply be present with what is in that moment. To not create any additional residue of heaviness that you ought to be somewhere different. Simply be with where you are right now. That's what the journey calls of us and asks of us. So, with that message, let's see what Spirit has in store for us. What message Spirit has in store for us related to that. You know, grief is such a potent teacher in our lives, such a great excavator. Always an unwrapping taking place in the most unexpected ways. Freedom. Freedom. Birds flying in the sky, beautiful sun. And so the message that I take from that is, in any given moment when we choose to be present with what is, there is deep freedom in that. Because that is an intimacy that we're creating with ourselves, an act of sheer courage and transparency to come and see, to come and see what is in here, what is unfolding. And when we dare to do that, we dare to free the aspect of ourselves in that moment. We dare to witness those parts of ourselves. So thank you for joining me for another episode, day 23. I hope this day is filled with peace for you and your day is surrounded by love. Sending you blessings.